loaders, and casters. Welcome to the Georgia Shooting Connection Friday Night Live Stream, take 2. Y'all didn't see, but we had I think it was a mouse malfunction on my part. We were sitting here talking to y'all, and y'all couldn't hear us. So, anyway, welcome in. Hope everybody had a great week. CW, how was your week, my brother?
It was an awesome week. Had a really good time. Got to the range. Got a bunch of videos done. Had a really good time. Learned a whole bunch of stuff. It was a really good week. Really, really good week. Just came back from the shore. We were down on the shore all day, all afternoon, and had a really nice dinner. Really, really good time. Bama, what's going on? How you doing? Mark.
Hold on. Doing pretty good. I can't complain. Can't complain.
Tell us about what you did. Get that chassis in, get that put together?
I did. It may or may not be
visible.
Sort of, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Yep, I can see it.
Are you talking about that monolithic sculpture behind you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
You did a good job. I told you a little bacon grease to that red clay and make it stick better.
I'm gonna tell you what, I'm just sick of people not. You order something from somebody, and they tell you it shows up. Hey, it's shipped. When you go to the carrier, where they give you the tracking number, we don't have the package in our possession yet. For 5 days. And then when I contacted them, the response was, you didn't order 2-day shipping. I'm like, wait a minute. I don't mind if it takes 5 days once the carrier picks it up to get to me, but I shouldn't have to pay you to take it to the mailbox. And it was a shell holder, one single shell holder. And they couldn't put it in the mailbox. That's Midway, USA.
Yeah, buddy.
Wow, they must have really gone downhill. Last time that I ordered something from Midway, I would order it in the morning, like right when I got to work or something. There'd be a flash sale or something. It'd be at my house by the time I got home.
Wow.
Amazon carries RCBS parts.
I mean, it was amazing. I hadn't ordered anything from them in a while, but
that's what it was. Mine was Amazon.
Yeah, I ordered these this week. They just came today from Midway. Maybe it just fell through the cracks or something. Who knows?
I always say my last name it's Martin. It's not Murphy. But if it can go wrong, I'm going to be the one. It seems like I get that everywhere I go. And with this rifle, it's been that way. It has really been that way.
Well, hopefully it's going to be worth it. I think it will. You're going to like it. You're going to like it. Andy, how was your week?
Well, the week was busy as normal at work, and got to the range Wednesday. Got to test out a bunch of test loads in the Rossi with the new scope. Sighted it in. The biggest issue I have is the semi-wad cutter, 170 grain semi-wad cutter. That rifle don't like them. I don't know. I have, what do I have? 10 different loads of 5 bullets each. And not looking for something hot, but something, in the 1,000 to 1,100 feet per second out of the Rossi. And I was obtaining the speeds, but the freaking thing was like all over the place. I put in the Type 3 wad cutter and cover it with a quarter, so it's like just don't like the bullet.
It's weird how it works sometimes. I was shooting subs yesterday, same bullet, same case, same lot of everything, I loaded up 5 pieces with unique powder, 5 pieces with red dot powder, and 5 pieces with bullseye powder. All of them targeting 1,000 feet per second. The red dot was the nicest, most pleasant, great sound signature. It hit 920, I think, average. The unique ran hot. It was running about 1,100 feet per second. And the bullseye sent full profile bullets into the target at 50 yards, doing 1,010 feet per second. Same bullet, same rifle, one right after the other. Only difference was the powder. Why does powder make a bullet not stabilize and go sideways at the same velocity?
I don't know. That's what
Crazy. But 3 bullets sideways in the target.
Yeah, but that bullet, I've got a hotter load that works in my Dan Wesson, and it's really accurate out of that. It doesn't shoot well out of the Rossi either.
That 170 Lyman is one of my favorite bullets for 357. The only complaint I can say with it is, some of the short cylinder guns don't like it, and some of the Marlins won't cycle it if you don't alter them because it's such a long nose. That's the 358 429 bullet.
Right.
But it shoots lights out. Beautiful shooting bullet.
I mean, my Type 3 wide cutters are shooting lights out. Same powder. Okay. So I have two loads that were the most accurate. All right. They grouped somewhat. So I reloaded 15 of each for the next outing. And then I tried changing the length, the overall length. I made it shorter. Not that I have a trouble. It's not a throat issue or anything. It changes, no problem. I'm going to try that. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to have to experiment with different powders.
Sometimes it's just, bullets barrels are just like us. They just have their own likes and dislikes. And sometimes you just simply can't explain why.
Well, again, I use that Winchester powder. So it's like, it's still uncharted territory,
Yeah.
Although we have, it's working fine in everything I'm shooting. And this is the first one that I'm having an issue. Now, I don't know if maybe it just isn't enough velocity. I don't know. So
yeah, could be.
All
right, well, good luck with it.
We'll see what happens. But the new scope I put on works great. Other than that, you can't eject. You have to turn the gun sideways and open the lever to get the empty brass to come out. The scope sits on top of it. I mean, it's a good inch plus, but it hits it and bounces right back down. So it's like, yeah, okay.
Rebel, how was your week?
It was okay. We've had business picked up a little bit, dove season, hunting license, blah, blah, blah. And today, Trent's never experienced the before hunting season mad rush of hunting license. And I said, today's your day, big boy. I said, you're going to have one guy that comes in here and he tells you he's going to give you an old license, and it's going to be a real old license. And he's going to say, well, I got my license last year. And no. And you're going to pull it up, and there's going to be no information, and you can't pull him up. And there's going to be 3 people waiting, and you're going to get frustrated, and you're going to holler at me, and I'm going to grin at you and go into the bathroom and shut the door. I said, but I won't leave you hanging for too long. And he said, okay, as long as you don't leave me hanging too long. He's a pretty good guy. I told him, I said, I'm a big proponent of trial by fire. I said, things tend to stick with you if they really get on your nerves. So he did okay. He had the one guy, and that was it. I said, did you get him his monkey tags? And the guy kind of whipped his head up and looked at me. His son looked at me, and he said, monkey tags? I said, yeah, I said the wildlife for the second year in a row, they've stocked baboons in Pisgah National Forest. He said, "You're kidding." I said, "Nope. Tell them you heard it at Bullseye." Cat food. I mean, at least every store around here starts one rumor every year. Some of them are bad and can get people in trouble, and some of them are just stupid, like what I just did.
Yeah.
But
Sometimes
that guy
you
took it.
just get that customer too, you know.
He took it hook, line, and sinker. He's ready to get. He said, "Why don't I have any tags?" I said, "It's a nuisance animal."
It's an invasive, non-native
Species. That's right. I said, but you got to watch out for them because they come in from the top of the trees, and you know those males are pretty aggressive. I said they can pull your arms out of your sockets, son.
Jesus.
They throw poop at you.
Yep. Yeah. But other than that, pretty good. So, what about you, Tex?
Oh, we had a pretty good week. It's typical work week and stuff like that. But I did get off early today for the range, so had fun there. Already put out a video on it, so if you want to see what I did, you can go watch that. But that's about it for me. It was raining like crazy earlier today. Supposed to rain all weekend here, so
we hit a rainstorm driving down to the shore. You could see it coming. You could see the road had been wet all of a sudden, and then it spit on the windshield, spit, and these drops had to be silver dollars. You could hear them hitting the metal on the car like a drum, and you couldn't see 20 feet in front of the car for about 2 miles, and then it was clear, and then another half a mile, the sun was out.
Yep.
Wow.
It took me
Just a squall.
nearly an hour and a half to get home in the rain today, where it shouldn't took me but 40 minutes.
And in that small time where you couldn't really see that far, did everybody have their hazards on and were trying to change lanes and you couldn't tell which way they were trying to go?
We was on country roads, so there's only 2 lanes.
This was
That's what I hate
small
about
highway
down
for
here. Down here,
I
it's
had a-
crazy. It starts raining. Everybody turns their hazards on and then wants to change lanes and gets mad when you won't let them in or you blow your horn at them. Like, what are you doing? You know, I had my blinker on. No, you had your 4-ways on. I thought you were
stay in
going.
your lane. Blinker's a request, not a rule.
I thought you were going straight. But
We
I mean,
hit a
don't do
squall
that,
and-
people. Don't do
We had a
that.
squall one time, and my little daughter was getting scared, and you couldn't see. And she said, "We gonna be okay, Daddy?" I said, "No, we're traveling through time." She said, "What?" I said, "We're gonna come out, and you're going to the 3rd grade tomorrow." And then she started crying. She said, "I don't want to go to the 3rd grade. I like the 1st grade." Okay, hang on. I fiddled with the radio a little bit. I said, "We'll be fine." So, I love messing with kids.
Yeah, the things fathers do.
Yeah.
Fox is in California.
Yep.
Yeah.
What is this rain you're talking about?
You don't see much of that wet stuff.
Our whole holiday weekend's gonna be rainy here.
Yeah.
What you got,
So-
Kyle?
That odd year's going to be rainy. Mine's going to be worky. I got to work all weekend, but that's part of it. I actually had a great week. My mom is actually back home from the hospital and adjusting to the new hip rather well. I actually sent her a meme that I found that said, I remember when what was it? A new hip place was a great place to be. And I said, is that too soon? And she said, no, that's perfect. I needed to laugh. Anyway, we're good there. Do what?
When I did my knee coming out of surgery, you come out, you're not Greg anymore. They check you out, make sure you're all good. And then you go right into the gym. Literally, you come out of surgery, recover from surgery, get all the cobwebs out of your brain. You can move all your toes and move everything. They get you up and you go to the gym.
Yep.
It was like 6 of us in the group. They do them in groups. So it was like 6 of us. I think 2 did hips and there was 4 with knees.
Yeah.
All 4 of us with knees had a hard time doing everything they wanted us to do. The 2 with hips, we're almost doing jumping jacks.
She's not to that point, but then again, she's 80
Almost.
years old.
Well, some of these people were up there too, almost doing jumping jacks. They were definitely way ahead of all of us with the knees.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
My nephew had it done about 6 months ago. He's a pin knuckler. He was back to work in 10 days. Now he is a supervisor, so he didn't have to really run around everywhere. So he could just walk around and go back in his truck and do his thing and go back out. But 10 days with a hip replacement
That's impressive.
at 50, 52, I think he is 53.
My mother put it to me this way. She would rather give birth to 100 babies back to back to back in the same hospital stay than to go through the pain that she had when she broke her hip.
Oh, the break. Yeah, well, you got to realize that's a big. I cracked a hip. I know what the pain is. I've been there. It's bad.
You know how it's a ball, like my
Yeah,
fist is a ball. She
Yeah.
sheared it right here.
yeah. That's
That happened to my grandma.
you
Wow.
make bone marrow with that bone, and then anytime you break a bone that does that, it's way worse.
She
Oh,
actually,
Not a finger or a toe. It's not just a
I
bone.
think her hip broke and she fell, not the other way around.
Right. I don't know what happened. Neither does she. Everything happened so fast, and Dad was just sitting there going, "Why is my wife screaming?" And then he figured it out. He felt bad because he couldn't pick her up and get her in the car to take her to the hospital, and she kept saying, "I'm okay. I'm okay. I just need to rest. I just need to rest." And she's just in miserable pain in the floor. And Dad's like, "No, I'm calling somebody." And Dad said, "I felt kind of bad that I couldn't get your mom in the car because my mom's not a big person. She's 5'1". Jamie, you met her. She's a small girl." And Dad felt bad that he couldn't get her in the car. He said, "I didn't feel bad once the paramedics and the fire department got there because it took 7 of them to get her into the back of the ambulance." I'm like, "Well, okay." But anyway, that's how my week's going. It's a lot better now than it was last week. So,
Well, I'm glad all y'all are here. Thank y'all for being here. Thank you to all our viewers out there. And we want to take a second and say
We all
hey
want to hear how your week was, though.
no, you don't.
There was good times. I know there was. Come on.
was it the first week back or the second?
Of school,
Yeah.
we started August 1st, dude.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm glad we got a 3-day weekend.
Off of grievance. It's your first week off of grievance, though.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, that's what was so tough for us this week.
Yeah.
Is, Lisa's mom passing. And,
I hate to hear
okay,
that.
Glenn Davis wants to hear how my week was. Yeah, we I'm gun related stuff. I'm working on getting all of my 6.5 Creedmoor and 270 Winchester brass completely prepped and ready for primer, powder, and bullets. And I also got to fix the dishwasher. The main board on that went out, so I got those parts ordered, and I ordered them Monday, and they're still not here. So I feel your pain, Bama Dad. And remember what you and I were talking about last night? You see this stuff right here?
Yeah.
It was the exact same size tube, and it was solvent, clear liquid, kind of like that is. See? And it was $11. So, yeah, mix up yourself a gallon of Edge Red. Y'all be glad you did.
Yeah, you
I
will.
bought everything today.
So,
I've got about 10 gallons of it in the basement.
Hey, you talking about?
Are you cleaning tanks, Kyle?
Yes.
Talking about shipping stuff. I ordered a mold last Friday, and I haven't got a tracking number yet.
from NOE.
My last one didn't come in, and their last day I think is Sunday for sales. By the way, if anybody's Wanting.
1 month. 1 month to get that.
Well, they had to dig through a warehouse somewhere, and it
That's-
probably wasn't even on property.
That's through the Martin Express shipping, though.
They need to fire him. We got a shipping company. We got a moving company here in town that's based out of Birmingham called 2 Men in a Truck.
Yep.
They hired 1 man and an extra dumb butt. But I
Well, if
wanted
it's
to
only
get
one man, you should have got it half price.
Man, we can't even get the mail on time.
Bud with a gun. I'm glad you clarified that statement. And yes, he is talking about the dishwasher. So
Oh, Lord.
yeah,
And so it begins. Welcome to Friday night, boys.
yeah.
Bamber, Dad, I bet your sunrise is even late.
It's an hour later.
No, it's usually on time because I'm up when it comes up.
Mm.
Yeah, I have enough edge red.
It's not because I'm an early riser, it's because I ain't went to bed.
I have enough edge red to last me a lifetime, but I mixed up. Whereas most people mix up a gallon and buy
Yeah.
4 quarts, I bought gallons and 4 quarts of the transmission fluid and mixed up 4 gallons in a 5-gallon gas can.
I found it cheaper to buy everything in bulk, and I ended up with about 10 gallons, and I think I've used almost 2 quarts of it. And that's
See, this
what,
is the
5
thing
years?
about that. You go and buy a quart, and for exactly twice that amount of money, you can get a whole gallon, right?
Yes, sir.
So, except for the transmission fluid, that's what's going to get you.
Well, I had plenty of that in the basement already.
Yeah.
You forget I've built transmissions for the last 35 years of my life.
Well, the Dextron, the GM brand, works better. I've some folks have used the Ford stuff, and it separates.
The Mercon,
Yeah, and they have to mix it up, shake
Well,
it up
even-
before they use it.
I
Even the
use nothing but
Dextron.
ATF plus 4, the Chrysler stuff, and it works fantastic.
If you buy Dexron from O'Reilly's and buy their brand, it'll separate. I was watching a video about that today.
Yeah, just the fluid itself. Yeah.
The guy said, I was just looking for cheap automatic transmission fluid, and he said, I got this, and it was Dexron too, and he showed it, and it was a layer of pink, a layer of thick white, and then
Yep.
water.
Yep.
Where that
But see,
water
when you pour it in the transmission, it mixes itself back up.
That ain't water, dude. That's
ain't supposed to do that.
acetone and kerosene and
That's
No,
it.
it was- But it was water. It pulled it out of that transmission fluid. So don't buy no cheap off brands. I mean, you can buy Quaker State transmission fluid or Castrol or anything like that, but just don't buy those generic brands.
I don't
Yep,
know
mine
about
was
that.
leftover Mopar ATF plus 4, so I had plenty of it laying around.
They've got some Royal Purple that's Dexron 3. I thought, I'll go get that Royal Purple and I'll have some Ed's Purple.
Purple. Hey, y'all, it's time for us to call out the side chat. I'm showing we got 30 folks out there joining us tonight. We couldn't be more grateful. And I was going to say earlier, we want to take a minute and welcome all that may watch the recording of this. That's something we don't usually do. So if you're not able to be with us tonight and you're watching the replay, thank you for watching. We appreciate y'all. Walt Fletcher says Edge Red, so that's what we're typing in tonight.
Yep.
Thanks, Walks.
I'm vicariously typing Ed's Red.
So what does that mean?
My phone's inside and I'm on the back porch.
Okay, so Kyle Lusk is with us this evening. He's on the panel. Right there off the page. Let me back up. Yeah, GGW Outdoors. My buddy's out there. Oh yeah, I gotta remind me to show y'all something in just a little bit. GGW, we got Ron 2A Matters. CW Longshot is on the panel and the side chat. So is Andy 79Z28. So is Texas 6. Alaska 1. Andy is out there, and I'm assuming he's in Alaska. Papa's Place is out there. GGW again. Glenn Davis, Crash. My buddy William C. Chapin. How you doing, man? Bama
Hello,
Dad
Chris.
is on the panel and out in the side chat as well. There's Bob Barlow again. Bulldog's out there. We got to put that up there. You don't make me crack up, make me lose my rhythm, man. So good to have Senior Master Sergeant Bulldog with us. Dwayne 7834 is out there. Mike Hester, the Rebel, is on the panel and in the side chat. Edward Petty, Papa's Place again. 3G, what's going on, man? Bud with a gun is mixing Ed Red with his Chippy mix. That's going to be good.
Add some sugar.
Mr. Bob Babalina's out there. Walks Fletcher again. Ron 2A Matters. Paul Loud. Hobbies Hobo. What's going on, buddy? Yes, Jamie. I live in North Pole, Alaska. Get out
North
of here.
Pole. Say hello to Chris, will you?
We're going to start calling him Santa Claus. Let's see. I think we're caught up.
Man, it's great to see everybody in the side chat, man. That's awesome.
Dude, it is good to see Bulldog out there, especially. And the reason he's been on my heart this week is, y'all know what happened 20 years ago today?
I believe it had something to do with the woman's name.
Kinda, yeah.
Was it Diana?
Hurricane Katrina made
Oh,
landfall.
Yep.
If I'm
I
not
can't
mistaken,
believe that was 20 years ago.
I know, right?
Holy Lord.
That was our first mission trip was in June of 06 to Gulfport, Mississippi. See,
Yeah, they've been having,
Bulldog and Papa's Place, neither one of them had to think about it. They knew exactly what it was.
they've been talking about that on the news here, about all of them that came over here to stay, you know, like in the dome and stuff, and talked to a lot of them that never went back. They're still here. They're Texans now.
Oh, every state park we had was full of them.
Oh,
They
yeah.
all moved up here for state, and they moved into
I knew
cabins.
exactly what you were talking about. I just couldn't believe it was 20 years ago. Man.
Yeah. Been on
That
the
was
news.
hard.
But it makes sense. My kids were little.
Well, what's
Come on, I'll let you in.
there's Boomstick. What's happening, bud?
Damn cornhole.
Good to see you out there, bud. What was I talking about? Oh, I was going to show y'all something, wasn't I?
Yeah.
You said to remind you.
Okay, hold on a minute.
Excuse me. What a
Better not be a picture of mine.
This is going to freak even CW out right here.
Oh man.
Get your fingers on the button, guys.
I got this little box right here. And I got stickers. Bunch of stickers. Hogue Incorporated, Remington, 200 years of Big Green. And then down in here, there's this bag that's got some oil paper in it. This ain't what's going to surprise you. What's going to surprise you is the name that's on it. And I want to thank you, GGW. Look at this. And you can tell it's a sizing die.
Mhm.
Yep.
What cartridge do you think that's for?
Hold it up again, Jamie.
Brass.
45, 70.
It's
May not
backer.
be.
Yeah, be sure and spin it right. That way we can read it.
Something Remington.
35 Remington.
Oh, cool.
But check this out. Y'all ain't gonna be able to read it. I don't think.
Oh, that's a big no.
Yeah, it's not even a definite maybe.
Yeah, I know.
I can see the writing, but I can't read it.
I might could if I had my glasses on.
Hollywood.
Hollywood Die Company. I got a set of
Hollywood Gun Shop.
I got a set of 270s just like that.
This is so cool, man.
That's pretty cool.
That was a real gun shop, Hollywood, California.
Jamie's gone full Hollywood.
Jamie, if I get mine cleaned up, I'll throw them in the tumbler and they got kind of gummy. So, not the end of the world. I get mine cleaned up. I might send them to you since they're 270.
That'd be great, because after all,
Yeah, I don't want to hear it.
anyway, I appreciate that, GGW. Thank you very much.
After all.
Yes.
Now, Crash, I just stuck the lock ring was in the bag. I just spun it on there quickly.
That would have been a big cartridge.
It's a 3500 Remington.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that Hollywood brand name is. Who y'all think made that?
Hollywood.
Looks like a lemon dye.
It does look like a lime and dye, but
Could be CH too.
Who did Hollywood become? Did somebody buy them
Jamie,
out?
you can Google it and it'll come up with a pretty fair explanation of what that Hollywood gun shop was and who made the dyes, and I forget. So I had to do it myself. I was just thinking about that little Japanese man and what was that? John Belushi, and it started a whole bunch of people. It was supposed to be during World War II. The Japanese decided to attack California, and the Japanese submarine comes up, and he looks up to the periscope.
1941, is that what you're talking about?
That's it. He hooks the girl in the bikini, and he looks through the periscope and goes, Hollywood! That's what I thought of when I first got my dyes. Oh, wow. Chapin's got some in alt 6 and 250.
That's what I was just telling him, Curtis. We can always use 30-06. This is Georgia.
Uh-oh, I messed that up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
great movie, Gigi.
I don't know, William. I'd love to have them, dude, but they're worth good money nowadays. Oh, as you said right there in that comment.
He said the presses are worth bringing big money.
Yeah, they've been people wanting them for a while.
Was he talking dies or brass?
No, he
Nah.
said he said the presses are worth big money.
Yeah, but he
Too.
asked me.
No, he asked if
Yeah.
we would like some in
Oh,
30-06 and 22-250. Is that dies or brass?
Dies, I'm sure dies.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I mean, 30-06 is not one of those cartridges that you go out and blow 1,000 rounds in a weekend. So if you do, you got a better shoulder than I do.
Yep.
Yeah, Bulldog, that's what we're running
On
into
eBay.
now. He's sorting through wheel weights. He's been through five gallon bucket. Gone through a 5-gallon bucket. Got 3/4 of a bucket full of lead, 7 pieces of zinc, and the rest was steel.
We got more than I would have.
Yeah, me too. That's a
I
pretty
agree with
good
that.
average.
The last bucket I went through, I got 3/4 of a bucket of zinc.
William, I'd love to have those dies if you don't need them.
I've got 2 5-gallon buckets worth of zinc sitting on my back porch. You can ask Jamie; he's seen them. I just got to get the stones to start casting it and all that. I finally got some steel molds where I can do that.
Just keep them out of the rain.
Keep up.
Yeah, right. Hey, they were on the porch.
It's damp
Right.
That was
outside.
not my fault. I didn't
Right.
ask for the tornado to come through.
What do y'all do with those foamy looking weights? Y'all pitch those?
They throw them in the garbage.
That's what I figured.
Foamy
What
looking.
are
Which ones?
they look like foam tape, but they're heavy.
Oh, the stick-on wheel weights.
Yeah, but they're not
Actually,
really-
heavy.
foam is-
Oh, the stick-on weights. No, that's good lead, man.
Keep them separate from the clip-ons because it's a different kind of
Unless
lead.
it says FN, which would be iron.
Well, these aren't the ones that have.
Unless it says FN, which would be iron, or
It's not like
ZN, which would be zinc, is lead.
No, he's talking about those heavy.
It looks like tape.
Looks like
Stick-on.
rubber.
They're stick-on wheel weights. That's just
They're
the
stick
adhesive.
on wheel weights, but the ones you're talking about are soft lead. The ones he's talking about is actual kind of foam,
Yeah, they're like dark brown.
and some of them are blue. I've had blue ones, but maybe that's just a southern thing.
I haven't never seen them.
You ain't?
I'll bring some. I'll bring some out next week.
I know what he's talking about with the
Yeah.
thick stuff on the back. I know what he's talking about. It's not the
Well,
white
these
thick
have
stuff.
no-
It's the dark gray thick stuff.
Yeah, these have no lead ingots on them like some of the lead stick-ons. You got.
Oh, you're just talking about it's like a lead tape, a thick
No.
lead tape, or not lead, but a thick tape.
It's foamy.
Right. I know what you're talking. I can go get some, but they're on the back porch again, and I'm back in the house.
I
Yeah,
was just
GD
wondering if
noticed it.
it's worth.
I know
throwing-
what you're talking about.
Are they lead?
No, I thought. No, they're not.
Curtis, I can take care of that, buddy. Thank you so much.
What about them cornstarch wheel weights, Bama Dad?
He's gonna give me a hard time about that.
Hobo said they got that crap up there in Canada. Andy, do you know what we're talking about at all? Have you seen them?
Well, haven't done much lead anymore, but yeah, I've seen them. They're almost like you think they're rubber, but
Yeah,
they
Yeah.
have some weight.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
and they're useless.
Yeah, they're useless.
I know they'll stink up.
I
the
think
place.
Curtis may be onto something. It's some sort of weight encased in some polymer to avoid corrosion on aluminum wheels. I think he's onto something there.
Probably.
Either way, they're junk.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I got a bunch that have no identifying mark on them. So I just set those to the side, and once the lead gets molten, I'll throw one on top and watch what it does.
Well, mind your temperature on that because you can melt zinc inside of lead. I've seen
Yeah,
me do it.
I keep it low enough that the zinc shouldn't melt.
You wouldn't think at those temperatures.
If you're melting zinc in your lead pot, you got to turn that lead pot down. You're too hot.
Definitely too hot.
Right.
Zinc won't go. Zinc will start slushing at about 7:30. At 7:50, it's starting to melt. At 7:80, it's melted.
Yeah, and lead's about 650, 630,
No,
something like that.
No, lead is
Your hardness.
under 500.
Yeah. Depends on your hardness.
And
Yeah,
your
we
wheel
got those.
Steel weight is under 500.
Also, how dirty it is. Dirtier stuff is higher temperature because it's insulated from the dirt.
Yeah.
Believe it or
Yeah,
not.
that's true. That's
You
true.
get nice, clean lead, it melts really quick and easy. Like linotype, you toss it in there, it melts quick. And you'll have dirty wheel weights that'll sit right there and not melt because it's dirty, not because of what it's made of.
Well, I'm not washing it.
It'll still melt before zinc, but it's not 500 like we're
Yeah.
talking. It's a little hotter.
When
I
you
cleaned
start,
out my pellet trap before.
Yeah, I found about 630, something like that.
Yeah, I've cleaned out my pellet trap before, and
About 630, you start.
burning, and some of them stay floating on top. It's like,
Yeah.
what's going on here? They're lead.
Dunk it, push it down in, and all of a sudden it'll melt.
I don't worry about it. It's not that much, so I just scoop the ones that won't melt off and throw them out.
Yeah. That's basically what I do. But if I know, like a lot of times, you can tell zinc just by its shape. It's got flat ends. It doesn't have the tapered, pointy ends most of the time. So if it got that, it looks like lead. Just dunk it, and if it just disappears, it was just dirty. If you dunk it and nothing happens, it's probably zinc. And get it the heck out, or steel. Get it the heck out.
I got to get busy. I told Jamie, my buddy called me again today, Jamie. He said he's got 10 5-gallon buckets for me.
yeah,
Yeah, but you're probably going to end up like me and have 6 5-gallon buckets of junk on the back porch that you can't pick up and do anything with.
so
He's been pretty good so far, but you never can tell what goes through a tire shop.
right. Think about this comment right here from Curtis. Said they're both rubber composite ones, which is what we're talking about, and then the polymer encased ones, the plastic ones, like Andy was talking about. And the brown ones around here are encased because of the road salt. Think about this. You're driving down the road, and you know that steel is very, very susceptible to rust. And so it gets to be springtime. And what if that little clip that you clip them things on with, what if that rusts through and all of a sudden your wheel weight becomes a projectile? And hopefully it don't hit nobody's windshield.
Okay.
So I get it, Curtis. Good point.
Walk down the side of the interstate, you'll see more wheel weights, and you wouldn't believe how many there are laying on the sides of the interstates.
Yeah,
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
And Crash got a good idea there. Hit the bucket with some brake clean, my boys. Yes. And Curtis says that lead oxide on the outside is a poor conductor of heat. So it just may be oxidation that's keeping some of them uh, from melting
No.
down. But what I do is when I'm sorting through a bucket, I have me a pair of diagonal cutters out there, and I'll squeeze them. And if I can leave a mark in them fairly easily, then they're lead. Then you got some of the lead ones that are really hard lead with a lot of antimony and stuff. Those are the ones you really covet, and even some of them are painted, so it makes it really hard for the diagonal cutters to actually clip them, if you know what I mean. So I want to talk a little bit about Colt revolvers tonight, and we got up, and I'm just going to hit some high points here. We talked up through the war, through Samuel Colt passing away in 1862, right? January 10th of rheumatic fever, 1862. And Elisha K. Root took over as Colt's company president. And on February 4th, 1864, fire destroyed the factory. Y'all remember all that?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
And the Rollin White patent. So after the war, it was in 1868 when Colt's first effort toward metallic cartridge revolver was by conversion of the existing percussion revolvers. They first patented this September 15th in 1868. And F. Alexander Thuer, Thuer, and they even give the patent number here. And there were 5,000 of those, but they weren't well accepted. They had 6 internal firing pins on the breech plate of the thing, and the cartridges were loaded through the mouths of the chambers. That's no different or no better than a cap and ball percussion revolver to me. So they didn't do well. So Charles Richard, the superintendent of engineering, got tasked with finding the answer, and his conversions were performed on the 1860 Army, which we talked about last year, and it was a 44. The caliber was 44 Colt, and the loading lever was replaced by an ejector rod. This conversion had one firing pin and rear sight mounted on the breech plate. They were loaded in the rear of the cylinder one at a time, and Colt made 9,000 of these between 1873 and 1878. And 1873 is a big year. We're going to get to that. And in that same year, they performed the same conversion on the model 1851 and 1861 revolvers for the U.S. Navy in 38 rimfire. William Mason was another one of Colt's engineers, and he improved on the conversion by placing the rear sight on the hammer. And along with Richards, was granted patents in 1871 to convert percussion revolvers into rear-loading metallic cartridge revolvers. And those converted revolvers are identified as Richards Mason conversion. They did 2,100 of them on model 1860 Army, and they made those from 1877 to 1878. Serial number ranged from 5,800 to 7,900. In November of 1865, so late in that first year after the war, or the year the war ended, Franklin attempted to purchase a license to Rollin White's patent from competitor Smith & Wesson. White and Smith & Wesson would take no less than $1.1 million. But Franklin and Colt's directors decided that was too large an investment on a patent that would expire in just 3 more years in 1868. In the meantime, Colt turned its attention to manufacturing goods other than firearms, such as watches, sewing machines, typewriters, and bicycles. So in 1868, Rollin White requested an extension to his patent, but the request was rejected. He then turned to Congress, but the request was rejected again, this time by the Senate, and on the initiative of President Ulysses S. Grant in January of 1870. So this led the patent to expire, and it allowed competitors to develop their own breech-loading guns and metallic cartridges. Following this, on that same year of 1870, Colt bought the National Arms Company, a Brooklyn, New York company known for manufacturing derringers and for circumventing the Rollin White patent by utilizing a unique cartridge. Let me see if I can share this with y'all. These are, they made this, it was in caliber 41 short, derringer. And they wanted to break into the metallic gun market, and they used these derringers as a testing ground. And it was a 41 rimfire. And they made 3 models of them. And the last model to be in production, the third Colt Derringer, was not dropped on the market until 1912. So they've made these things for a long time. Let me see if I can. Somebody coming in here. That's American Hillbilly. What's up, man?
Right.
Hey, everybody. How y'all doing?
How's Grammy doing?
Good. Sorry being late, guys. It was Zane's birthday today, and so we got a few of the grandkids over, and so we had to do the whole cake and everything, and so just got through eating some cake and ice cream, so I'm doing good.
Well, happy
We're
birthday.
talking about Colt. Happy birthday, Ames.
I'll tell her.
We're not going to sing though. How y'all like that? What does that remind you of?
A Clevis?
Reminds me of those first Smith & Wessons.
I had 2 Colts and 22 short in a box one time. Like that one on the left there, the top one.
Yeah, I think the top one is the first model, and I think the one on the bottom right is the third model.
They didn't hinge open; they swung sideways.
Yeah,
Cool.
I can see that. See the work there,
Yep, they swung sideways.
the locking lugs.
Yeah, they were 22 shorts. They shot pretty darn good for what they were.
That's pretty ingenious, if you ask me.
Put a silencer on into one of those.
Yeah, get them threaded. Yeah.
All right, I had that backwards. The one at the right is the first model. The one on the top left was the third model. There's Mark Thomas. What's going on, bud?
Hello, everybody.
Hey,
Just
Mark.
Just got home. We were out doing some errands, so thought I'd jump on.
Hey, Miss Kitty. Vanessa Kitty's out there, y'all.
You mean Miss Liddy?
That's what Walks calls her. Yeah.
All right, let me cover a little bit more of this and we'll finish the rest next time. So in 1871, Colt introduced its first revolver models using rear-loaded metallic cartridges. The 41 caliber Colt House revolver, also known as the Cloverleaf, for its 4-round cylinder. Let me show y'all that, and then we'll get on to something else. Something else I wanted us to talk about tonight. This came out in 1871. What does that look like? Looks like those ugly Smith & Wessons, don't it? With no trigger guard. Can you see the cylinder? How it only held four cartridges?
Mm-hmm.
That's a goofy looking machine there.
It is. I'd still like to have one though.
Yeah, they're worth no telling what at this point. I gotta go back now. So all this stuff, they came out with a bunch of stuff in the 1870s. And it culminated, let me see. And the 1871, they also came out with the 22 caliber Colt open top pocket model revolver. They wanted more powerful, practical handgun. And back to William Mason again, he began to work on Colt's first 44 caliber metallic cartridge revolver, and that was the 1871-72 open top. We'll probably talk about that more later. And then finally, the company registered 2 patents for the open top, one in 1871, the other in 1872, and these same patents mentioned in the markings of the Colt single action Army revolvers, a nowadays legendary, long produced model, improved and based on the open top. Production of the open top started in 1872 and stopped in 1873 when the single action Army model started to be delivered to the U.S. Army. However, the open top was already a completely new design. They couldn't use the parts for anything else, and it was a 44 caliber rimfire. And it was submitted to the U.S. Army for testing, and the Army rejected the pistol and asked for a more powerful caliber with a stronger frame. And then Mason redesigned the frame to incorporate the top strap, similar to the Remington revolvers, and placed the rear side on the rear of the frame. And he consulted with Richards on some other improvements. The first prototype of the new gun was still chambered in 44 rimfire, but the first model was in the newest caliber, known as the 45 Colt. So in 1872,
the greatest pistol cartridge ever devised.
So the 1872, the Army ordered 8,000 Colt single action Armies or peacemakers, also known as the Colt Model 1873, was born. One of the most prevalent firearms in the American West during the end of the 19th century, and Colt still produces it in 6 different calibers, 2 finishes, and 3 barrel lengths. And they also came out with several others that we can talk about next time. So we'll stop there at the single action Army in 1873, and there's still probably 3 or 4 more guns that they came out with in the 1870s and 80s.
And when they broke into the double actions, there's a whole pile.
Yeah, they same with Smith and Wesson. So I did a Google search on Hollywood engineering, and the Hollywood gun shop was known for producing reloading dies, but the shop itself has since closed down. The
Oh, yeah.
dies are now being produced by a company called Hollywood Engineering. I think this is old articles. Um, I would have to dig in and read.
Well, I agree with CW. They do look like lineman dives.
From Rust, they this article from practicallyshooting.com says that they made reloading equipment, mostly presses, dies, and powder measures, from roughly the 50s until only a few years ago. And this was in 2019.
Wow.
They could have bought the die bodies,
They could have.
finished them themselves. You know, CH makes more sense because they're local to them. Lyman is across the country, but
Right.
could be anybody's. They strike me as Lyman's from here.
Just looking at them. Yeah. Jamie, shortly after y'all left to go back home, one of my customers came in. We started talking. He's a real nice old man. And he finally confessed to me that he had a Colt single action Army. I said, "You're kidding." I said, "What generation was it?" He said, "I don't know." He's a big old country fella. He said, "My great granddaddy gave it to my granddaddy, and my granddaddy gave it to me." I said, "When was it made?" He said, 1873. I said, "Yeah, it makes sense. That's the first year that it's made." I said, "What caliber is it in?" He said, 4440. I went, "Good God Almighty." And anyway, to match it, his great granddaddy handed down a Winchester 1873 in 4440. They're both original. And I asked him for a favor. I said, "I'm not going to tell you name. I'm not going to, but could you bring those guns to the store and let me take pictures of them?" And he said, "Yeah, I'll do that sometime." I said, "Hell, I'll follow you home as an escort." He's got them well hid, well camouflaged, and well locked up. But that was surprising to me.
Dame's here. Hey, Thor's axe. Yeah, that's super cool. Another thing I wanted to ask y'all. I'm talking too much, y'all. Before I get on to that question, those of y'all who are interested in the Colt revolvers, y'all have seen my Smith and Wesson book that the Scotsman blessed me with. There's a book out there called A History of the Colt Revolver and Other Arms made by Colt's Patent Firearms Manufacturing Company from 1836 to 1940. So you can get that on archive.org.
I might have it.
Imagine that.
Well, that would be shocking.
Yeah, that man's probably got Elmer Keith's upper dental plate.
He's going to look for it, ain't he?
Yeah.
I'm gonna bail out, guys.
Mike, that was
See
fun.
ya, Andy.
All right,
Good night, Andy. Thanks for being here, bud.
Good night, Andy. Love you, brother.
Take care, everyone.
You
Have
too,
a good
man.
weekend. So
I thought I had a lot of crap until I made friends with CW.
you do have a lot of crap.
Yeah, he's got more crap.
I know. I know.
Well, one man's crap's another man's something.
Who on the panel anneals their brass?
I do.
All right.
It
Not a lot of
may
it, but-
almost be unanimous.
So, how many of you guys out on in the side chat? How many of you guys anneal your brass?
Andy,
79 Z28 does. Walks
we do.
does. Dwayne 7834 does. Papa's plays.
Crash, you ain't cool.
Yeah, buddy. GGW. Andy annealed 38 357. That would shock some folks, but it doesn't shock me because I know why.
Right.
Because
I've
Thor
done a
back
bunch of
does.
32s
Yeah,
and
Dave, I know
38s.
Dave does.
Do what?
I've done
Six?
32s. I've done 32s and 38s, but I do it so I can run black powder in them and they'll seal the chamber better.
Right.
JP
Right.
does.
So Thorzak's anneals. Mr. Pollard does too. So I was talking with Ricky Baird Tuesday night, and Bama Dad, you're going to be annealing, whether you know it or not. You will be.
Yep.
My 6.5 Creedmoor, I anneal every time I load them and fire them. When do you anneal? Now I'll tell you what I'm talking about. When I get back from the range, I deprime them and I anneal them and then I clean them. Then I lubricate them and size them and size the neck, and then they go into the dry tumbler to get the lube off of the cases. After that, I trim if they need it. I trim them, camphor and deburr, and that's about it. Then they're pretty much done, right? My question is, at what point in the process do you anneal? But first we have a sighting. Count us down there, Hillbilly.
All right, let's go with 3, 2, 1.
Mario!
West Coast weirdo.
All right,
That'll be.
So Thorzak says he fires about every 3. Pollard says he fires every other firing. I anneal mine, especially 6.5 Creedmoor, every single time, only because of consistency. Crash says he cleans, deprime, anneals, then size, trim, clean again, and load.
So you're annealing dirty brass?
I
No.
do.
I don't.
Well, are you looking at how many firings before you anneal, or at what stage in your reloading process would you anneal?
What stage in your brass prep?
Okay.
Crash's answer is what I'm wanting to know. He's cleaning his, and my point is, should I be cleaning my brass before I anneal it?
I've had
That's what
some
I
stuff.
always thought.
Yeah, I've had some stuff stick to brass when I annealed it that would not come off, and I didn't clean it, and I was like, okay, I can take care of this. So I clean it first.
I deprime, clean, and then I'll anneal them.
Yeah.
The first thing I do is deprime them, then run them through a wet tumbler before I do anything else. Now, depending on which cartridge it is, Depends on if I'm going to anneal it that time or not. My 308s, I anneal every other firing because I run them very hot. Jamie can attest to that. 30-06, 270, and like 300 blackout and stuff like that. Every 5 reloads probably. I don't do them much because there's not a whole lot. I don't run those very hot.
I do every 4 or about on 6BR and 6.5 Grendel.
But I always clean every piece of brass before I do anything to it.
Yep.
Deprime and clean before you do anything to it. That's my rule. So.
I've done it that way, but lately I've been annealing, been depriming, annealing, and then cleaning.
These are ready to be annealed.
Walks, sizes, deprimes, clean, and anneal. See, I won't do that. One of the things I'm concerned about is using my sizing die before I clean them because I don't want the inside of my sizing die to get scratched up. Yeah, Walk says that. Clean first. Yeah.
See, I like to clean. I like to deprime before I clean. But these new 300 PRC dies that I got, they didn't come with a decapping die. It's decap and full size.
All in one step. Yeah.
Can you not run them through a universal decapping die?
Well, that's what I was going to do. I've got one of those FW arms, but I'm going to tell you what, that thing, as far as I'm concerned, that's just a billy club.
Check this out. Bulldog says, I have.
Immediately after spell check.
Spell check. Yeah. That's the joke of the night right there, Bulldog. Yeah. You got us all.
Preparation 8.
Hipparchus says if it's induction, it shouldn't matter, but I clean first. All right, I think y'all got me convinced. I need to clean them first.
Yeah, but induction, it doesn't matter what the heat source is.
I always clean them before I do anything to them.
Good to see oceans out there.
I run everything through a universal decapping die and be done with it. Yeah, it's good to see him.
Yeah.
Trent ordered I can't use a universal decap and die on Lapua brass. It's got too big a damn puncher. I have to use
buy a whatchamacallit die. I did the same thing.
I just decap it and then resize it later.
I can't think of the company. They make sizing dies and they make decapping dies.
And so you could get one with a little pin.
Yeah, it's actually a 2-step pin. You just adjust it deeper.
Mighty Armory.
Mighty Armory. There you go. Mighty Armory.
Okay. Yeah, I wished I would have bought theirs instead of that FW Arms.
Yeah,
now FW Arms is owned by Dylan. Dylan bought them.
That 7BR brass I bought from Peterson has a small hole in it too.
Yep.
I went and opened them all up.
You can just punch it out if you don't worry about it. Just
because I stuck 2 of them in a die because the pin got stuck in the hole.
Yeah.
So
I worried about it.
Went in and opened them all up.
The 357 SIG, a lot of the brass comes through with a small pin. Some of it comes through with a large pin. So I just run it all through the tapered pin to run it to large. Because if I don't, I can't progressively load it because it'll pull the pin right out of my sizing die, and then I'm jammed up. So I just prep them all, and I enlarge that primer hole to the
2 brand new pieces of Peterson brass that's caved in because
I wish you could get headed pins for all dies, and then
I
you wouldn't have
know.
to worry about it, but you can't. So
Well, nobody said the step about taking the chicken, cutting its throat and saving its blood and mumbling some voodoo stuff over your brass. I do that occasionally.
I don't want to know that brass.
Hey, the,
Mm-hmm.
the brass gods are going to get theirs no matter what, man.
they're really good. They're really good deprimant dies. They have a couple different sizes because they won't size the regular one won't size the giant Magnum stuff. You got to buy a bigger
Mm-hmm.
die. But
Okay.
they're a little bit pricey. They're not bad, but they're a little pricey. But they're definitely worth it. They're solid. I've had it for years and I love it.
Okay.
Yeah, I was wondering what do y'all think about that?
If I'm making like 300 blackout brass out of a 223, I'll go ahead and deprime it, clean it, cut it, size it. I'll anneal it, then resize it again, and I'll leave them in a bucket for a while, and then I'll resize them again and anneal them. When I first cut them, I go through 2 annealing process, but give it a couple of weeks
Well, if you
for
had that
life out of the case, even though I'm reusing a case, so to speak.
you had that shoulder not stay where it's at before. Kyle.
I must be having internet issues because everybody's roboting.
Mm.
Yeah, it
You're
looks
what?
good here.
What'd you say, Mike?
I said, are you having trouble keeping that shoulder where it's at? Does it grow when you after you size it, or just you just resizing it for the safety of it?
I just resize it for the safety of it.
Okay.
Because I'm not shooting normal loads in my 300 blackout. I mean, I've got some that I call them worm burners. They're like 2,700 feet per second, 110 grains, and I'm all the way down to 900 feet per second, 230 grains. So,
Well, CW knows me and him both have loaded bullets. Me specifically, 125 grain hollow points. I shot them 3 years ago, and the brass is still circling the earth.
yeah,
They were hot. I mean, hot.
We shot those 110 grains, me and a buddy of mine, and he was like, I don't think the chronograph even picked that up. And I'm like, yeah, it was pretty stiff. And we finally got a couple of them to read, and they were like 2,600, 2,500. He was like, good Lord. I'm like, yeah, I don't think we're going to load any more of these.
Yeah, that's hot.
Yeah, it was very hot. He goes, those are worm burners.
Worm burners.
But they were accurate, and they got there quick.
I guarantee it.
I mean, I'm expecting that out of a 30-06 or something like that, 300 Win Mag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I've got it
Bulldog
on my
says
phone.
he always cleans his brass first, then deprime. When do you anneal though, Bulldog?
I wet tumble, so I like to deprime first. Cleans the primer hole pretty good. Paging Bulldog. Paging Bulldog.
I'm still using my Harbor Freight dry tumbler with the walnut media. And if I
I hear you.
deprime before, those little granules get stuck in there and you spend too much time poking them out. So I just leave the primers in, clean them up a little bit, run them through the universal decapper, trim them if need be, anneal, then resize.
Yeah, wet and dry tumble is it's a either or kind of thing. There's pluses and minuses to both of them. If you deprime first, your dry tumble media can get stuck in there. You know, if you wet tumble and don't deprime, then you're not really cleaning the primer pocket the way you need to. But then you can take care of that in another different step. You know, it's all in what works for you. Just do what works for you.
I use that little wire brush on that RCBS case prep thing.
Y'all ain't right.
I do too, Rollis.
Yeah, Brooke. Hey, Brooke. There's Garage Guy giving us a Georgia Tech score. I like Rollis, and I like this comment. Good evening. I anneal after dry tumbling, unless I anneal before dry tumbling. What I like most about that comment is the preciseness.
He's the most interesting man in the world. But I want to know what a gun gimmius is. Look real close.
He's too funny, man. Don't even try to.
Kyle's
Fletcher's
like,
doing it.
Hester,
Walker's
you had to
doing
notice that.
it like his dad did.
It's about as clear as mud.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever had a need to have a cement mixer to wash my brass. That would be a nice problem to have.
Them's rookie numbers to have that. You know, you gotta step them numbers up.
Oh yeah, you got to be a Michelik to do that stuff, man.
Yeah,
And he does.
Have you noticed that he doesn't have any videos anymore?
I've got a lot of brass, but I don't have that much brass.
Hey, Jerry's getting long in the tooth, dude.
Well, his daughter took over the website.
Well, she's faster than he was.
Well,
I mean,
but Jerry is still not from this planet.
no, he's not.
No. So therefore, his lifespan is not relevant to any of this conversation.
No, it's about like Chuck Norris's.
Yeah. Jimmy Michalak's 187 years old and can still beat his own world record, shooting 197 rounds out of an 8-shot Smith & Wesson revolver in under 2 seconds.
But between his legs, eating a Bojangles biscuit.
Exactly, without spilling a crumb.
That's right.
I was having dinner with Jamie Yeager, and this kid came over and introduced himself, started talking, and he said, "If I come to your training, can you make me shoot as fast as Jerry's Michalak?" And I said, "Buddy, you fixing to spend a lot of money on ammunition." And Yeager leaned over and said, "Not only that, you can't learn what's a gift from God."
You got that right.
I saw them interview Jerry one time where they were talking about he'd use those hand exercises, those spring things, and how heavy his hammer spring, the trigger spring was. And the interviewer was like, "Why do you use heavier springs?" He said, "They're faster.
They reset faster, yeah.
They reset faster." Yeah. Something me and you we couldn't even stay on target with. He's sitting there going, "Boop, boop, boop."
He's a wonderful guy to watch. You're never going to duplicate it, but he's a wonderful guy to watch. Very interesting.
I miss Bob Munden. I really do.
Lord.
Yeah.
That guy was ignorant.
Call it me ignorant.
He gives us guys with a belly hope.
Yeah.
I'm telling you
And
this.
Hey, he was.
When he can shoot faster than a high speed camera can record, that's
He comes
fast.
He comes out there, and he's taking his no acetol pill. You know, his belt's real low, and like Jamie said, his belly's sticking out. And the interviewer's kind of like, "Yeah, well, okay, you shoot fast anyhow." He said, "Well, I'm gonna shoot this balloon, and I'm gonna shoot that balloon over there, but you're not gonna be able to tell it. It's 2 shots." That was an early film, and he goes, "All right, we'll give it a try." And Bob sits there and pop.
Yeah, tell me
Both
when
his
you're
balloons
ready.
break like that, and he went, there's got to be
Yeah,
some kind
he
of
was
trick.
like, do it again. And he did
do
it again.
Yeah, do it again. Mm.
Tommy boy, that's a good point. Notice he had a limp from shooting himself.
Oh yeah, yeah. You
Well,
notice his holster had a steel scoop underneath it.
Yeah, I'm about to say, call it a top strap or something. He had something to reinforce the top part where the top strap of the pistol would be.
Yeah.
Okay, time for our verse of the week. You need to finish up something.
Nah.
You ready? Are y'all ready for the verse of the week?
We are
Yes,
ready.
sir.
Okay, y'all know we've been talking about the 10 Commandments, not the 10 suggestions. I think we're up to number 7 now. Exodus 20, verse 14, you shall not commit adultery. I'll start with John MacArthur's notes. It says, applicable to both men and women, this command protected the sacredness of the marriage relationship. God had instituted marriage at the creation of man and woman in Genesis chapter 2, verse 24, and had blessed it as a means of filling the earth. Genesis 1:28. The penalty for infidelity in the marriage relationship was death, as recorded in Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 10. Adultery was also referred to as a great sin in Genesis chapter 20, verse 9, and a great wickedness and sin against God in Genesis 39:9, in Matthew 5:27, and in James chapter 2, verse 11. Y'all know I love David Guzik. Clearly, the act itself is condemned. God allows no justification for the ways that many often seek to justify extramarital sex. It is not to be done. And when it is done, it is sin and it damages. Some years ago, there was a Christian music industry singer named Michael English. He lost his recording contract and marriage over adultery with another Christian singer. Afterward, he said of his adultery and its aftermath, quote, maybe God allowed this to happen to make me see I needed some freedom, end quote. Well, that's a big fat no. So,
Who wrote that, Jamie? Where'd that come from?
Where'd what come from?
That quote about Michael English.
It's from Enduring Work, Dr. David Guzik.
Because I know Michael English made a public confession.
Well,
and changed everything.
because there are different punishments for adultery in Deuteronomy 22:22, and the seduction of a virgin woman in Exodus 22:16 and 17, and Deuteronomy 22:23 through 29, adultery is distinguished from premarital sex in the Old Testament. Each is wrong, but wrong in sometimes different ways. Let me give you an example. Deuteronomy 22:22. This is New King James. If a man is found lying with a woman married to a husband, then both of them shall die. The man that lay with the woman and the woman, so you shall put away the evil from Israel. Exodus 22:16 and 17 says, if a man entices a virgin who is not betrothed and lies with her, he shall surely pay the bride price for her to be his wife. If her father utterly refuses to give her to him, he shall pay money according to the bride price of virgins. So even if the father won't allow the man to marry her, then he still has to pay the money, and that's 50 shekels of silver. And then this next one's a fairly long one, but basically Deuteronomy 22:23 through 29 is talking about if a young woman who is a virgin is betrothed to a man and that man's to be her husband, and it's in the city, then you shall bring them both to the gate of the city, and you shall stone them to death. The young woman because she didn't cry out, and the man because he humbled his neighbor's wife. So you shall put away the evil from among you. But if a man finds a betrothed young woman in the countryside and forces her, then only the man who lay with her shall die. But you shall do nothing to the young woman, because there was nobody there to hear her cry out and to save her. So God's pretty serious about this, guys. So, questions or comments? Oh, wait a minute. One more thing I forgot to cover. Jesus takes it to a new level in the New Testament. And we talked about that when we did the Sermon on the Mount study. Jesus says in Matthew 5:27 through 30 that it's a condition of the heart. More than the act itself, Jesus carefully explained the heart of this commandment. You shouldn't look at a woman to lust for her, where we commit adultery in our heart or mind, yet may not have the courage or the opportunity to do the actual act. We are not innocent just because we didn't have the opportunity to sin the way we really wanted to. So don't even think about it.
It even goes on and says that if a woman or a man commits adultery and the remaining partner, and they're divorced, and the remaining partner remarries, that person is guilty of adultery, but the sin falls on the one that caused them to walk away, that caused them to have to find another mate. So it's like, if you divorce and you remarry because the other person wasn't faithful, it's adultery, but that sin of adultery is on them.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
That makes any sense.
I don't want to get into too long a diatribe. I think everybody here knows that I've got 3 kids. One by my first wife, one by my second wife, and another. And she's a gift from God, just like uh, my granddaughter's a gift from God. But I'm the one that's got explaining to do. So I've committed this. It was I guess the devil got in me, and it was my particular. He said, "Boy, you're good at this. Just keep it up." And I was that way for a long, long time. And it's an evil thing. I mean, after a while, it's kind of a game, and people laugh at it because it's sex. Because we're Americans, we get uncomfortable when we start talking about sexual relations between two adults. But basically, it just comes down to you're turning yourself into you're no different than a African ape or a wildebeest or a lion or anything else. You're below human. You're just you're just doing it to be doing it, and it's not right. It's not what God's plan is for you. And I've committed this sin a lot. I um, my wife cured me of things like that. And I tell young men nowadays, don't think you're playing a game, son. Don't think you're playing a game. I said, because it'll lead you down a road that you don't want to be on.
It does. And that's what the great thing is that the cross is always there,
That's right.
and the blood of Christ is always sufficient. If we're faithful, to confess our sins, He's faithful and just to forgive us of our sins and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. So there's no.
And when you're going through divorce, you're thinking about your ex or your soon to be ex, and at that time you can't stand them. You can't stand them. So whatever you do to them, or whatever, it's you don't care. You're like, I don't care if I hurt her feelings. Listen,
I think that's
my
just different opinions, though.
yeah, it is. My ex-wife, although I would not remarry her, there's no daggone way. We done, we done had our try, and she's remarried, and I'm remarried. But she's a nice person, and she's not a bad person. There's no reason um, to carry a grudge, and I don't think she carries a grudge against me, although I deserve it.
Well, I want to say something, Jamie. You're talking about the male still had to pay the father and stuff. The English are switched that around to where the woman had to start coming up with the dowry. But yeah, I'll just tell all the married men out there, make sure you tell your girlfriend about that seventh commandment, because you shouldn't be doing it.
Also says something about carefully picking your mate. I think so many young men, including myself, when I was younger, kind of go willy nilly into marriage. They take it serious, but they're so young, they just don't really, they're not mature enough to understand the responsibility of it. And then that child comes around, and then things change, priorities change, and people grow apart. Um, and I always am careful about how I say that, because I don't want my elder child, my son, to think he caused anything. He absolutely didn't. He was a wonderful, wonderful child, and I enjoyed raising him. And I had nightmares for a year and a half about telling him me and his mother was going to get divorced. and that's the roughest thing I ever done. I wouldn't want to do it again.
Well, I just want to reiterate what Bama Dad was talking about. God is righteous and just, but He forgives if we'll ask Him. And
Yep.
He's
Mercies are new every morning.
Yep.
above all, He's merciful, and I praise Him daily for His mercy. And when we see dang Chuck.
Gosh.
That's the whole thing. I'm glad that, it's humbling to me to think that God came here in the flesh and suffered, was beaten, crucified, and died. And all I had to give him was my filthy heart. He came here and did it because he wants us to be with him. He wants to have a relationship with us. The truth is, the only thing that we had that we could give him is the only thing he wanted was our filthy heart.
But Bama, you know that when you're in the throes of sin, like adultery, you're not thinking about that. You're just not. It has to come to you one dark night when you're alone and you're kind of sad because you don't like the life you're living. And then you hear that quiet voice go, dang, boy, I taught you better than that. And you start crying and you ask for forgiveness. I know when I heard it, my knees are so sore from slamming on the floor. I just prayed and prayed and prayed for forgiveness. I still think He's going to make me carry around 2 lit charcoals in my pockets for about 1,000 years. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. Either. But I tell you what, I'd rather carry hot coals in my pockets in heaven than to live in hot coals in hell forever.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, we need to start going through the room and clear the deck for. Let's talk about bench rest with Kentucky Rimfire Hobby coming up next. Mark, you want to go first?
Sure. It'll be quick and easy. I don't know what I've got coming up. But the only thing I think I might try to do is get down to the range and run through a couple of reloads I did. I did some of those 308s on that classic Lee loader. Want to shoot some of those, and I still want to do up a couple of 3006 runs and get some of them down there again. So just thanks for having me. Been a great evening. Sorry I was a little bit late, but it's always nice to be able to come in and hang out with you guys and talk to the folks over in the side chat. So hope everybody has a great Labor Day weekend. And I guess we can pass it off. I guess 6, you want to go next?
Yeah, I'll go. We got a video coming up tomorrow on the Texas Sixpenny RV Adventure channel. Hadn't had one of them in a while. We missed all of our medical stuff. We didn't get to go camping or nothing during the summer, but we got one planned for December. And I got a couple other videos I want to do out there in the trailer. I got a couple shooting videos I want to do if it don't rain on me. So that's what I got planned for this week.
Got a video drop today.
Yep, video dropped today. I went shooting today, so drop that. That's all I got.
Rebel, what you got coming up? Thanks for being here, Six.
No problem.
I'm hoping that the guy that came in yesterday that walked away from trading a gun for $5. We were $5 apart. He walked away. And I was pushing the issue on purpose. And I was letting Trent watch me wheel and deal. And I wondered after he walked out, I said, golly, I hope none of them boys on the Georgia shooting connections like this. I said, because if we was ever in a gun store together and they started in on stuff like that, I'd probably smack them. And I watched this guy for years when I was a customer of my store. And he would come in and he'd just bought 3 of this or 4 of that. And he wanted to trade one. He's one of those gun dealers without a license. You know the type. You know the type, Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Used car
And
store.
yeah. Last time he came in, he bought 2 of those cheap Savage Stevens that look like a little Tika. He bought 2 of them. And I said, give me some feedback. It was about a year before I got some feedback. And he said, oh, they're good rifles. Well, I have 2 more ready for hunting season. He said, I want to do a little trading. And he was talking to Trent. And Chad had set him up. So every time he asked a question when he was in there last time, Chad would defer to Trent. Ain't that right, Trent? Ain't that right, Trent? Well, we call this guy Giggles because he's got a nervous little laugh. And he came in and he said, I got some trading to do. He brought in a Thesis 45 automatic. And then he brought in a Diamondback Western style revolver, which I said, I got plenty of cheap Western revolvers. I don't need that. And so he started wanting to trade, and he left the price tag on it. It was just really rough written, $500. And I said, was that what you paid for it? He said, yeah, that's what I paid for it. No, actually, I paid $450. The guy gave me a good deal. I said, well, good. I'm glad you admitted that. So you went down the range and shot it. I could smell the powder. He said, yeah. I said, well, now it's worth $350. And you could see him just bow up, and I milked that boy like a Guernsey cow. He wanted to trade. We got down to, I'll give you $20 boot. I said, no, you'll give me $25 boot. He started doing math with a little old pencil. Hey, I can't take that kind of loss. I said, why? Are you in business for yourself? Selling guns? Got a license? He said, I'll be back tomorrow. I said, I'm sure you will. So he said he had a boy willing to buy that gun for $450. And I was like, if he's going to buy it for new price after you've shot it, I said, you got yourself a fool tree. So go sell it to him, come back and pay dead cash. You ain't dealing with the old owner here. And so he kept giggling faster and faster and faster. And he walked out. Trent looked at me. He said, that boy couldn't play poker worth a damn. He said, he keeps giggling faster and faster and faster. I said, that's how you know he's lying to you. And I said, don't get me wrong. Don't take it personal. I said, he's just trying to get his best deal. But I said, he'll go out and buy cheap guns and try and trade them for good guns and whatever. And he'll try and get new prices for something he's got to play with. That ain't going to happen. And I said, I'll make it my personal mission to bust his, what. And Trent said, okay, I'll make it my personal mission. I said, that's what you need to do. I said, if you're acquiring guns for this company, you're acquiring them like I want you to acquire them. And I said, you don't pay what he's asking. And he said, okay. He said, that was a good lesson, Mike. I appreciate it. Now, Trent's 4 years older than me, but I've been doing this crap a whole lot longer than he has. So, so I hope
bottom line is the dealer can't stay in business buying a gun from a person off the
Nope.
off the street for the same price he could buy a brand new gun at a distributor and put it on his shelf.
Yep.
You just
Yep.
can't. You
And
can't.
he's asking more than that. He's asking retail. And I said, I wrote that down on a piece of paper. I wrote retail, wholesale. And I went, the top is you.
Yeah.
The bottom is me. I said, no, I'm not paying retail for that gun, son.
I can make a phone call right now and put it on my shelf, brand new, for less money than you're asking me to buy it from you for. Why would I do that?
Yeah.
Why would anybody do that?
Yeah.
Anybody.
And
for any reason, with any
I
kind of
told him,
brains they had.
I said, you know what I make on that brand new gun? He said, what? I don't know. I said, I'll tell you, $45. I said, you're sitting here wanting to wheel and deal with me and try and crap me out of it. I said, it ain't happening. It just ain't happening. Well, I'll go sell it. I'll bring the cash back tomorrow. Okay, we'll see. I probably won't see him for 6 months. You know, well, I've done called this BS, but I hope he comes back next week. My point, Jamie, and that'll be fun because I like Guernsey milk. It's good and whole fat and pain. Kyle, what you doing next week? Working.
Well, I am going to be working, but I will say this. I am very happy about something. I found my reloading bench. I finally took a flat-bladed shovel. I went snow shoveling and got everything off of it, and I'm going to start loading up some 7.62 by 39s to go along with my Argentine Mauser rounds, and we need to get together and go shooting.
I got a crap load of SST 139s, 129s, and 310. If you need any, can't find any, well, we'll work out something.
That'll work. We'll talk.
All right. Sounds good.
I'm playing around with a couple of different molds, trying to find the right mix, but it's just not working yet. So, yeah, we'll probably talk.
Yeah.
All right, Bama Dad, what you got coming up?
I'm trying to put a few rounds down range on the new rifle and do a little bit of reloading for it. That is, if I can find the powder.
What powder you need?
Well, there's several different loads that people are working on, but Rotumbo seems to be the number one powder for the 300 PRC, and that's like there's not any.
Yeah, it's like hen's teeth.
Yeah, they stored it on Venus, and they ain't sent a ship there to get it yet.
And you have to go around Uranus to get to it.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Well, there's a load, for H1000 and one with one of the Vitavori powders.
What's the accurate powder that's real slow? Magnum? Is it Magnum? Yes.
Ramshot is Magnum.
Yeah, Ramshot Magnum. It's right between on the burn chart. It's right between Rotumbo and H1000, which means it pretty much is the same dadgum thing. So, or at least
I
that's the
remember
way I read
find
it.
the combo on clearance at my local store. They just couldn't get rid of it. It was like $15 a pound. They're just trying to get rid of it.
Dadgum.
I have one of those. I'm not sure I have both of them, but I think I've got the H1000. Anyway, we'll talk afterwards. I'll get over there and look. CW, what you got going on, bud?
Oh, I made me six videos or so this week. So I'm out through the end of September with videos.
Need to make sure the sound's on though.
That's I have no idea. I've made 1,000 videos. Never had that happen before. Don't know. I had to scrap it. I can't do anything with the one on Rumble. I don't have controls over there. I don't know how things work over there. I can't delete it. I don't know what the hell to do with it. So it's going to sit the way it is. But I deleted it off YouTube, and I'll have to make another one. But it didn't post on YouTube. It was in the queue. Into the range with the 458 a couple times, 2 times. I've been to the range with the 400. Again, I got a couple of new calibers that I haven't had in the channel before that I did videos on. So I got quite a bit of stuff coming up. I didn't look to see what's coming up this week on there yet, but
you got 2 new thumpers to try out on deer.
There'll be at least 2. I am really, really liking this 400. Today I got a text from my buddy, a little shop up in New Hampshire, has a Ruger American in 400 Legend that I waited 2 years and couldn't find one.
Yes, story of my life. I hear you.
Yeah,
Yep.
They got one. So I don't know how they got it or what the story is, but it's brand new, and it's a really good price. I'm not going to buy it. I'm really happy with my Savage. It shoots great.
Right.
I just shot these new copper bear claw bullets, these copper white tipped hollow point bullets made specific for the 400 Legend. I just shot 5 of them into a single hole at 100 yards with a group. So the gun shoots.
Yeah, it shoots well.
And guys, it could shoot 1 MOA, and I'd still be happy with it, because just sitting next to it and hearing it when he shoots, you can tell it's not a 350. It's not a 300 blackout. It's not. No, this is something different. We have stepped full forward into big bore, and it's got a big bore roar to it. And
well,
the white.
Think about it. Most people know 308 pretty well, and 308 with a 165 is not 2,700 unless you're over pressure or a really long barrel.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you're 26 and change, and if I can get these 165s going low 26s, that's a straight wall cartridge doing what a 308 does.
Mm-hmm.
With a bullet that's bigger than what a 308 is probably going to expand to start.
Yeah.
And the 400 is going to expand.
I'm running my 308s hot, and
It'll be a
I'm
hammer.
getting like 2680 out of them, and that's running them hot.
Yeah.
With a 230 grain bullet.
Well, and then there's barrels, and some barrels are faster, some are slower, but still, for an average,
This
that
is a straight
400.
wall.
Yeah.
Low powered straight wall cartridge.
Let's put it this way: if that was on the shelf back in the day, there'd be a lot of buffalo hunters buying that sucker.
Yes, sir.
It's the first one of those kind of cartridges that's intrigued me.
If you ever heard it, if you heard it shoot, it would be you'd like, I gotta have one of those just for the sound. You don't want to suppress it. It sounds so good. It makes you happy,
So I'm really, really liking it. I found myself looking at what's out there for rifle stocks, like a nice wood or composite stock for it. And so Bell & Carlson makes one that'll fit it. It's got the bottom bolt release, so it's not like the old Savages with the pull the trigger and push the button on the side up beside the beside the receiver. This one's underneath like a magazine release.
Yeah.
So not everybody makes stocks for this one.
Yeah.
But I like it enough to spend the money on a stock for it, because it could well be my second or third favorite deer rifle.
I love Savage. I wish they'd land on a platform to where they're like, okay, the 110 or the Model 10 or the Model 12X is going to be this, and they're not going to change it. Yeah,
pick one and stay with it. Yeah.
And that way I can order a freaking stock for it and a scope mount for it. You know. So,
I got an email from Peterson Cartridges today saying that they now have 400 Legend.
that's good
Really?
brass too.
Peterson,
Yeah.
good brass.
Peterson.
Jump on that, CW.
Yeah, that's good brass. I
All
got
right, boys, we need to clear the deck. We're off into bench rest time here. I want to thank all you guys on the panel for helping us do what we do every week, and it's a great thing, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you, and you guys on the side chat. If it weren't for y'all, we would just be doing a Google's hangout. So appreciate all y'all more than you'll know. We hope all y'all have a great Labor Day weekend, and we hope the Lord blesses y'all real good. And if He's willing, we'll see y'all next Friday night at 8 o'clock. Say good night, y'all.